the next part of month end, of course, is getting the money from the funder to cover the invoicing. So we have like, what do you call it? A float. We have a float that covers the amount of the invoicing for the month. And then what we do is we invoice the funders to reimburse us for the amount that we were just invoiced, so that we have the money there for next month. So the next step is to prepare the invoice for the funder. And if you've got more than one funder, then you have to do it for each funder. If one of the funders is the parent, this same process applies. There should be a documentation of the transfer of money into the bank account that covers the cost of paid supporters. There should always be a paper trail for income tax purposes, for auditing purposes, for, if the funder ever has any questions, if there's ever any question, there should always be a paper trail. So I'm going to talk about what happens with direct funding, or what I call individualized funding. This piece applies to Laura because she has individualized funding, which is very, very rare, I might add. Not very many people have this type of funding, but she's been blessed with this. So what happens here is that we have to type up an invoice for the agency that acts as the flow through from the government to us for the money. So it's Community Living Peterborough that does this for us. That's the agency we've chosen. And so I type up an invoice, and that invoice includes a breakdown by type of service being provided by the supporter and by supporter. So if there's 3 or 4 supporters providing support, each of their invoices will be noted, but it'll also be noted the type of support that they're providing. So if it's direct support, if it's employment support, or if it's planning support, or if it's administrative support, it's broken down. Okay, so you need to type up the invoice for community living, and then I have to email that to the person at Community Living who administers that fund for us. So in Laura's case, that's Pat McNamara right now, or Donna Sanders. I print off the invoice to Community Living, and once I've emailed it, I write on the actual invoice that I have emailed it, because I want to make sure that I keep track that I've actually sent it. So I mark emailed, and I print the date that I emailed it. And then what I do is I take all of the invoices that are recorded on that invoice to Community Living, and I attach them to the back of that invoice. And then there's a tracking form inside the folder where all of these documents are kept, and I keep a running declining balance so that I know exactly how much money is left in that pot for the rest of the fiscal year. Okay, and then after all of that is done, then it's time to just put everything away, file it away, and then at the end of the fiscal year, that file is taken and filed in a box with previous fiscal years. And I actually have all of these back to 1988. Don't think we need to exactly keep them that long, but I have them all there. So I haven't quite figured out how long we're supposed to be keeping them. I've heard 3 years, 7 years. I'm not sure. So that's the end of invoicing the direct funding funder.